Okay, here we are. This is Bob Carter with Bob's Music Connection, and we've got Futureman from Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, also with Eclectica, and also composer, director, concert master, creator of the Black Mozart Project and the Black Mozart Symphony. Is that correct?
Yeah, Black Mozart
Ensemble.
Yeah.
So, Roy, as we're sitting back here, we're here in Nashville. Last time we sat down right before Christmas, I believe it was in Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah.
Or it may have been, no, I think it was Athens, Georgia.
Okay.
In Athens.
Okay.
And we went through a few things, and of course, as you were preparing for the show, you needed to run and make some music, so we didn't get to quite sit down and finish our conversation, so I wanted to swing back around to you.
Yeah.
And first thing, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man. We're already in February 2010, and I just want to say hey to everybody out there, Bob's Music Connection.
All right. And Roy, we talked a little bit about, what you played in high school as far as trumpet, and then went into a few things. And you come from a little bit of a musical family.
Mm-hmm.
And how having all your brothers growing up playing different instruments and you guys playing together as your band, the Wooten Brothers, how did that impact your development as a musician?
Well, just being from a music family, I think everyone inspires everyone else, and supports everyone else, pushes everyone else, has camaraderie with everyone else. And so, like, even my oldest brother, Reggie, he actually taught Vic, the youngest brother, Victor Wooten, to play when he started teaching him when he was 2. And so from 3 on, he started using his fingers and learning how to actualize the music. Because even before he was 3, when he was 2, Reg had him with a guitar. And so there's that camaraderie. Even before he knows what he's doing it with us. And
right.
We're in a group together playing. And he taught Joseph Wooten, the keyboards. And so I was playing drums. My brother Rudy was playing sax. And while my parents were away at work, and Reggie was in charge. And so we formed a band somewhere in there when we were in Hawaii, created a band. And it's like, the family plays together, stays together kind of thing. It creates a camaraderie. It's a natural fraternity, share ideas, express ideas, learn to express yourself, discipline yourself to practice, to focus. And, that's what I can say about growing up in a music family. We sort of grew up in this institution together that we were forming ourselves. And, and that also exists in the larger, fraternity of musicians around the world. So when we were young, getting to play with Curtis Mayfield at a very young age, here we are joining a fraternity of musicians. And then from that group of musicians, we saw the value of learning to read music, because we were in the studio and they were working out some tunes. I don't know if they were working on tunes for a record we were going to do or what. I can't remember why we were in there. But the drummer, and I remember his name was Neo. The drummer's name was Neo, like the Matrix, Neo. I think that's what they called him anyway.
Right.
And they were working on the idea, and people didn't get the idea, so the drummer said, wait a minute. And he went out and wrote out some parts, handed it to everybody. Then he went back and played, and everybody got it. And we were like, whoa. That was like, we got to learn to read music. We need to be able to do that. So, being inspired by some of the older fraternity, we'll say musicians, fraternity brothers, musicians,
right.
They inspired us to see the value of being able to play naturally and to take your ideas and write them on a piece of paper so you can express it in a short amount of time what it is that you're talking about in this language of music. So we learned stuff like that by being together. We all saw that together, and we all sort of got the same impact that we need to go back and really apply ourselves. Because sometimes if you're naturally talented, you already know how to play. So it's like, well, why should I, learn to read music when I already know what to play? I know how to play. And so maybe you won't apply yourself wholeheartedly to it. But we saw the value of everything, being able to speak and being able to write the novel.
All right.
Yeah.
And then of course, you know, I've had the privilege of knowing you for over 30 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, we work together with Bush Entertainment.
Yep.
And you know, the years that you spent with Bush, how did that impact your development as a musician and honing your craft and giving you opportunity to see some other parts of the music industry that you might not have seen otherwise?
Yeah, I think, you know, maybe from a cosmopolitan standpoint, meeting all different kinds of people and playing for people from all around the world, learning to work with people, again, reading music, to read those shows and interpret those shows, but and the consistency of doing a good show one right after the next and maintaining a certain level of energy and commitment to the message of the show after show, high level. I learned that actually from Tom Wilkins early on. Tom Wilkins was playing tuba. He's a maestro now, conducting, and he just had a really high level. And I was surprised at how much music I can learn in a fest house, you know, a band. But when I got there, Tom Wilkins was the maestro, basically. He was a tuba player, but he was really the maestro. And that goes to show a good musician right there who can take a situation that you wouldn't even think would be a high-level musical situation and put excellence into it, show after show after show. Excellence, dynamics, and everything. And this is a trivia thing, but me and Tom are on a Busch Gardens record somewhere, and Tom is one of the best tuba players I've ever heard. Musical,
right.
articulation like Clifford Brown or something, man. And on one of them Fest House records, Tom is playing the tuba, and I'm playing drums, and it's a good record, man, because of the same musicality. You wouldn't think there'd be that much musicality in there, but there was. And so working at Busch offered time, you know, because you have a show, you have a whole lot of time in between. So it's in that time when I started working on the first drum guitar, because I had time to think about trying this experiment and laying the drums out. So it was back in the Busch Gardens days when I did the first experiments working with the drum guitar, taking the guitar body. You know, it was a black guitar body that my brother Reggie had. You know, and it was hollow body, hollowed out, no strings, and you know, it was just sitting in the closet. And Reg told me a guitar maker, you know, who could help build something that I was thinking about doing. You know,
Okay.
so I just kept going, and you know, you end up, you know, going further than you know. You know, the body gets basically sort of destroyed along the way, like the Syntax, same thing. You know, you buy the Syntax. I just think that I'm going to play the Syntax, but along the way, man, you know, the body gets destroyed, man, and it's like, wow, man, you don't want to do it, and it's like, wow, the experiment takes you further than you knew, and hopefully something good comes out of it, you know. Right. But Busch Gardens was that kind of experiment. But again, you know, a lot of times going back to my brother Reggie, Reg was a big inspiration in a lot of stuff, because Reg would always know the guitar makers and the people who could do it. And if you look at Reg's guitar, he's got all kinds of like innovative stuff. Reg has I don't know, at least a 10-string bass that he had made, man. This thing is nice, man. It's the nicest thick, fat bass I've seen, man, because it's like 10 strings or something, but it looks so sleek. It's a nice design. And it's Reg, you know, Reg is a complete musician, man. Right. Really, really amazing, you know. So, you know, getting back to family playing together, man, everybody's just inspiring, you know. Rudy playing the sax, you know, when he was 16 and stuff, man, he had like absorbed Charlie Parker so fully that if they would have done a movie back then, he could have played him, you know. I mean, and they wouldn't have had to overdub any track, you know. He could just play the, you know, it's amazing, man, and all the musicians that we grew up with too, you know. So the camaraderie that we had as a family attracted everyone too from around. So Busch Gardens was a wider family, but in our garage, everybody from Carter Beauford to James Genus to, you know, Alvin Moody, Stephanie Mills, that whole crew came through there. They actually recruited Alvin in our garage. They auditioned him right in our garage, and he hasn't been back since. Yeah.